Hello, my name is Cybie, and I'll be talking about Brady Corbett's The Brutalist in this video. This is my first video, so cut me some slack for any mistakes that I make throughout this recording. I got to see the film in 70mm, and I received this nifty little brochure in a poster at the theater that I went to. The sleeve of the brochure states, "The Margaret Lee Van Buren Center for Creation and Activity will be a new landmark. A landmark which proclaims not only I am new, but I am part of the new whole." And then the brochure itself showcases the more details about the creations by Laszlo Toth. And then just more details about him and his life. Also comes with a postcard for the people that still use postcards. And then the poster, which I'm not going to be able to show very well. I can't show it, but pretty cool. Pretty cool. I had to fold mine up because I had to shove it in a suitcase, which is kind of sad, but still pretty cool. But on to talking about the actual movie. There will be spoilers, just an FYI. I feel like to really talk about the way I feel about this film, I kind of need to dive into the entirety of it. So if you're looking for a spoiler-free review, this isn't it. The film is split into two parts. The first half showcasing the emptiness of Laszlo's character and how easily he falls to carnal desires. The score consists of this uplifting, warm, and almost nostalgic-like tone throughout. I've been listening to it a good amount on Spotify since finishing the film. Very, very good. First off, I just adored the opening scene where Laszlo bustles to the top of the ship to see the Statue of Liberty, excited to start a new chapter after World War II. Laszlo seems to put up no resistance to anything, and he just kind of accepts them for how they are. Even when he's speaking up for himself or others, he seems apprehensive. He's just like, well, shucks, I guess I gotta do heroin and get my dick sucked. Darn it, you know? Adrien Brody does a great job of making this trait convincing. He gives such a gritty performance of an artist whose creative liberty has been robbed after the terrors he's experienced overseas. To add to that, there's a scene where Laszlo is shoveling dirt after getting fired by his cousin for losing the Van Burens as a client. He's completely aware of his creative prowess, but he's nonchalant about pursuing anything to do with them. It's like seeing LeBron James choose to work at a Subway instead of the NBA. Like what happened? You know, like, what are you doing? And then there's Guy Pearce, who expertly portrays Harrison Lee Van Buren, the man who discovers Laszlo Toth's genius. His presence is overpowering, demanding priority over his co-stars in every scene he's in. He's just a walking highlight machine, honestly. Fantastic performance by Guy Pearce. It's kind of stupid, but during the intermission, I was thinking just how much he reminds me of Carter Peterson from Family Guy. Just this cartoonish depiction of wealth. He's a businessman that does business stuff. Most of the laughs in the theater were due to his dry sense of humor that's ever present in his dialogue. He says complete utter nonsense that his peers eat up without thinking through, especially his son. Like, please, can we just kill him? Like, he's so miserable. I despised him as a character, which of course is what you're supposed to feel, but God. Oh man. Van Buren doesn't care about art. He doesn't understand it, and he doesn't care to. He has an urge to appease the high-class folks around him so he can fit in. Just the idea of picking up this poor immigrant off the street to showcase the library he built in his ginormous mansion to all his rich friends after firing him days ago is fucking hilarious. Laszlo is able to see through him, but he doesn't care to call him out for it. He understands he's hollow just like him. This dynamic between Laszlo and Van Buren is the showcase of the second half of the film. Felicity Jones' character, Elizabeth Toth, I practiced this multiple times, and I most likely still said it wrong, so I apologize. Uh, she completely steals the show in the second act. The handicapped wife of Laszlo, she's the foil to her husband, strong willed, outspoken. It really makes you wonder what Laszlo was like before the war. Was he more similar to his wife? Because it's such a contrast between him and her. In a film of fantastic performances, she has the one that has lingered with me the most. I've spent a good amount of time thinking about multiple scenes that she gave. She was fantastic. The scene on the first night, reunited with her husband, she completely takes control over him. She acknowledges the promiscuous activities her husband has been up to while she's been away, while slowly jerking him off in such a dominating way that it makes Laszlo whimper like a child. I mean, like, she just completely bitches him in this scene. I know that's such an immature way of putting it, but it is insane just how she overpowers him in all of their conversations. Despite Laszlo's aloofness, he's still trying to find a home in a new frontier. There are multiple lowly place shots that follow the road that he's traveling on, almost train-like in style, a nod to the transportation he experienced in the horrors of the Holocaust. Nowhere is home. He's not wanted by anyone, anywhere. Laszlo's only home is the marble prison he's building, his magnum opus, the concentration camp he's chosen to spend his life suffering in. Van Buren isn't aware of this artistic ambition by Laszlo. He doesn't care for culture. He doesn't care for material meaning. He doesn't care for how tall ceilings are. He wants an artificial building to be praised by the masses. He entertains Laszlo by calling their conversations very stimulating, and by idiotically placing his face against a slab of wet marble, but it's all performative. He wants Laszlo to know that in the end, he's the one in control. The climax of the film. Laszlo is seen partying, drinking, dancing with women as Van Buren stands above him on a balcony, watching him with a deep frown on his face. Laszlo wanders off, and Van Buren follows him through a wet, dark corridor made of stone. Van Buren finds Laszlo a mess, throwing up in a sewer-like area. "What have you done to yourself?" Van Buren states as he begins to monologue to him about how much wasted potential his existence is while he violates him. The party continues. The night turns to day. Work must continue. Van Buren isn't talented. He's not a genius. He's not the one in charge of building the monolith of marble, but he's in control, and that's what matters. That's what has always mattered. While high on heroin, Laszlo confesses to Erzsébet about the acts done to him. The next night, she travels by herself to confront Van Buren during one of his dinners with other high-class folk. A paralyzed woman physically standing, holding her walker as she vocally stands for her broken-down husband, whose dream has become his nightmare. Van Buren has stepped on every level of Laszlo's emotions to claim ownership of him. Dismayed, Van Buren runs off from dinner and enters the lifeless void of a community center he sponsored. The sound of water sloshing, screams of panic, never-ending darkness. The camera switches from empty room to empty room. Van Buren is nowhere to be found. He's experienced just a fraction of what Laszlo has in a building of the same constitution. America's culture is industrialism. This is hammered throughout the film with messages such as American steel from Pennsylvania. The score of this half matches this tone with the sound of what can be described as ambient sounds of clinking metal. To this day, America is still finding its footing. Creatives aren't at the forefront of industrialism. People like Van Buren who just throw money at things are. What's left is a lifeless, hollow structure. Echoes can be heard, searching for what's already gone. The American dream is dead, and it never existed in the first place. If you can't tell, I really enjoyed The Brutalist. The creativity and cleverness used to mask its low budget is worth the ticket price itself just to see. The miscellaneous clips of construction and seemingly arbitrary pillars of cement are simple but genius ways of showcasing this masterpiece of a structure without actually having to build it. I was completely immersed in the world Brady Corbett directed. Despite knowing Laszlo Toth is a fictional character, I still willingly looked his name up on Wikipedia to find out more after viewing. That's the magic a fictional historical drama should have. Crushing, hopeless, and sadly timeless. A candle that burnt itself out a long time ago. I highly recommend watching this film if you get a chance to invest the time into it that it deserves. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. That will be the end of my review. Thank you. While Am I really fucking up this man? I need to stop reading so bad. No, my fucking plushie. He fell. That's so sad.